I'd like to call to order Cascade Charter Township Planning Commission meeting Monday, June 16th, 2025. Article 2, Pledge of Allegiance to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Article 3, approve the current agenda.
The agenda?
Awesome. All right, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Let's see, Article 4, disclose any conflict of interest.
None.
Okay. Article 5, approve the minutes for June 2nd, 2025 meeting.
Support.
Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Article 6, acknowledge visitors and those wishing to speak. If you're here for the case number 23378, case public hearing for the case, Article 7, we'll give you a spot to speak then. But if you're here for something else, and you want to speak, I hear you. Okay. Anybody online?
Nobody online.
Okay. All right. Article 7, case number 233780. Cascade Charter Township public hearing. Requested actions. Let's see, zoning ordinance and zoning map. Airport commerce.
Go ahead. All right, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
All right, thank you. I'll try to keep this brief, especially because what we're essentially doing, or what is proposed to be done, is recommending a ratification of amendments that were done before. Back in 2023, there were amendments to the zoning ordinance that followed something like 25 subcommittee meetings, quite a lot of work that had started back in the middle of 2022. And those went up to the township board and were approved, and these relate to airport property and particularly the overlays. So changing it from the previous zones, subzones 1 and 2 to a new overlay A, B, and C with different uses permitted in each, and to better regulate and protect the surrounding area and encompass the airport terminal adjacent areas with appropriate uses. The primary reason that we are here today is that there've been 2 lawsuits, one by the airport, but secondly, and more recently, one by a property owner in the area called Fresh Coast. And one of the allegations in that lawsuit is that the notice for these original amendments back in 2023 was not properly done. And the allegation is that the notice described the amendments only as text amendments and not a rezoning or zoning map amendment. And it alleges that in fact, this, because it was dealing with overlays, should have been noticed as a map amendment. Now, Township denies that it was done improperly, but to eliminate that issue from the lawsuit, the recommendation is just to provide new notice and just do it again, so that if there was a defect or deficiency, it is corrected. So that's what's back before you today. You know, the notice for this is fairly, broad in saying that the township is proposing to amend the uses in these areas. So we've, covered the options that are here before you. And if there were any, tweaks or anything like that we needed to make, we'd have the room to do that as well. But tonight's the night for a public hearing on those proposed amendments with the end goal of making a recommendation up to the township board.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions for the attorney?
No.
Guess I'll make a motion to go to public hearing.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, open the floor to public hearing. Anybody online wanna?
Nobody online.
Okay, guess I'll make a motion to close public hearing.
Support.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. All right, so the motion here is just the the existing recommendations, to reaffirm the existing recommendations.
Fine.
To recommend that the township board readopt or ratify those 2023 amendments that were set for public hearing.
Okay. I'll make a motion in case number,
A little comment.
what's that? Yeah, absolutely.
Sorry.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
First, most of my comments I will keep to myself in regards to the letter from the airport from Tori Richardson that we had received from Ian Toria related to the public comment about this. I just want to say one statement that I do think it's ironic and extremely frustrating that the legislation that he cites in his letter was passed with no public notice and no public comment, that it was kind of just mysteriously put through legislation and nobody in the township knew about that, which ultimately, based on his letter, gives the airport authority all powers of a political subdivision. So it's extremely frustrating that we're going through a process to notify the public and to allow public comment when in fact legislation was passed that nobody in the township was notified and nobody knew that it had happened until it came up in the lawsuit. So I just want to state that. And then this second thing that I do want, whenever a motion is made, I would recommend that overlay B, that we also add to overlay B that cell phone towers are
A,
so,
was it overlay B or A that
A.
you wanted?
A, sorry. Overlay A to add cell phone towers as an allowable use in that overlay. That's it. Anybody else have any other comment?
Why? Just because it's a good place for them, or?
Yeah, right next to the highway, and Tori cited many uses that we approved that the airport wasn't very happy about, so cell phone tower seems like another one. If we're gonna have cell phone towers in the township, I think that the area between the airport and I-96 highway is a perfect spot for them. I think that we've talked about design standards for cell phone towers within the new zoning requirements, which will be included. And so I would like to add cell phone towers to the uses in overlay A.
Is there no height restrictions being that close to the road?
Yeah, that's between the airport and whoever wants to do it.
I think if I can speak to that, generally they would have to meet FAA requirements separately from the township's requirements.
Does anybody else have any other comments?
And those, the terminology.
Is a special use.
Yeah, and it would be wireless communication facilities. Is that the
Correct.
term in the zoning ordinance? And that would be as a special land use? That would be our recommendation if you're gonna
Right.
go that route.
The terminology used was, we recommend, the township, that we recommend.
Adopt an
adopts-
ordinance.
Adopts the recommendations from the 2023 Planning Commission recommendations.
Yeah, adopt an ordinance ratifying the 2023 amendments with the addition, if this planning commission wishes
Yeah.
to recommend that, with the addition of allowing wireless communication facilities as a special land use in overlay A.
Okay. All right, I'll make a motion for case number 23-378. Cascade Charter Township, adopt the ratifications from the 2023 Planning Commission recommendations, adding in overlay A that cell phone towers are an approved township use in overlay A.
Special land use?
Special land use in overlay A. Support. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. All right, Article 8, case number 25-3892. Cascade Charter Township set public hearing for zoning ordinances.
Yep, so I apologize for putting this on the agenda prematurely in the last meeting. The subcommittee has been working incredibly hard on this for the last 6 to 8 months. And we're to a place where we've got it all formatted. We've worked through a lot of the kinks and we're ready to present it internally. We've already been doing so with a lot of the departments in the township and making sure that that's presented, locked in and ready for a public hearing for July 21st. I think, yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Let me make sure now I'm questioning.
That's right.
this.
Is that right?
Okay.
Okay, sorry.
So we'll set the
At least
public
that's what the
hearing.
memo says.
Yeah. We'll set the public hearing for July 21st and then we will distribute the draft version internally for from in the next week or so until the beginning of July, at which point we will publish it and send out the public notice
Okay.
and for the public hearing.
Just to clarify, it has to be posted 15 days. Is that the right?
Correct.
number? Okay, so the July 21st, we're talking July 6th. It's
Yeah.
15 days before,
Yeah.
correct? So we still have a couple of weeks, like
Yeah.
you said, the subcommittee to finish it and then for it to be internally.
Yep. Review.
How long didn't we want to give the planning commission at least a couple of weeks for the rest of the,
We did, and
so that would be,
our last meeting,
gotta be done
I
next
think-
week then.
and I think it will be close, which is amazing compared to what I know you weren't able
Yeah.
to make the last meeting. Which is why we put the brakes on it, because prior to that, I feel like we were nowhere near ready to be done. There was a lot of stuff between staff and McKenna that really needed to be still updated that we hadn't been able to view yet. So we got a semi-final draft before the last subcommittee meeting, and we meet again tomorrow. And I think between tomorrow and then if we have to meet again on the 24th, we have that date available as well. I mean, realistically, we could still meet the 1st. So we have 2 more weeks if needed to make any changes before it gets posted. And then once it gets posted, although once the subcommittee kind of signs off, it will go to the planning commission.
Correct.
So I think the planning commission will have close to 4 weeks to be able to review it before the meeting, which I think was the goal, about a month.
Okay.
You just send us an email when that's
Yep.
ready to go, Andrea.
Yep.
And I would read it in chunks because
Yeah, right.
It's a lot.
it's a lot and it's,
I'll schedule
Dry.
20
Yeah.
minutes a day.
just before bedtime's a good.
Right.
Dry. I take offense to that comment. This is a very interesting document.
Wait, portions of it are interesting.
And so a question for you, because I wasn't at the last meeting. Do you feel confident that we're okay July 22nd, or would it be better to do it for August and then we don't have?
I feel 1,000 more times more confident compared to our last meeting after the draft we got a week ago, last Friday before our last meeting, and some of the changes that we went through before that in our last meeting. So in our last zoning meeting was
3.5 hours.
3.5 hours or so. And then the one tomorrow scheduled as well for over 3.5 hours. So, and it's going through a lot, but it's more of like the it's going through the stuff that we had already talked about and just seeing it kind of in the document, which is what we were missing before our last planning commission meeting, which is why I did not feel confident. So I feel much better with these dates. A lot more confident.
Okay. Andrea, if we put it for July 21st, I mean, is that in stone? If we have to push it, can we?
No, we can always hold multiple public hearings.
Okay.
So we're required to hold a minimum of 1 public hearing.
Okay.
So if there's, something that comes out of left field, that's not satisfactory. I don't imagine that will happen. But
I don't think so. I just want to make sure the document's ready and, but, okay.
Overall, if in 2 weeks, just mentally going through my math, because that gives us tomorrow, actually 1 week, so tomorrow and then another week, then that still gives us the blessing. So if we meet tomorrow as a subcommittee, we don't have something scheduled the following week, but if we do need one more long marathon meeting, we have that.
Yeah.
That still would get the document out to the planning commission within 4 weeks,
Yeah.
allow them almost 2 weeks to review it before it goes out for posting, which is 15 days for the public to review. And just, I wanted it close enough that we weren't listening to public comments that we already knew needed changes.
agree.
But I did not want to deal with this 500 times
Yeah.
over and over, things that we had. So I think there might still be a couple of tweaks here and there. And it'll be interesting to hear. I'm excited. Nobody's probably, I hope people show up. There's a couple of changes. I mean, there's a lot of changes because of the master plan and where the township wants to go. And I think that as a subcommittee, we are just a few voices within the township and what we
Yeah.
think is what people want. And I'm hoping that we do hear public comment then at the planning commission level and at the board level to know whether people really do want certain things or they don't, or what their frustrations are, and just to hear back from people. So I think we're to that point now where I think that as a subcommittee, we have kind of been like, I think we've all done a great job working together and agreeing on certain things. And then it's time for it to get finished up, sent out to the public and hear what their thoughts and ideas are on
I'm
it.
interested to hear what you guys think too.
What we see, will it be, will it show us what are, what the updates are and what the changes
The
are?
final will not the one that's-
There were so many.
There's so many.
There was so many
Okay.
changes, and unfortunately, truly, throughout the process, part of the problem too is that McKenna is contracted with us to do this work. We had Danielle worked with us through our strategic plan and our master plan and was working on our zoning updates. She left McKenna right within a month or two of us starting this. So and then Chris works with McKenna. He's great. He's kind of was along for the ride the whole time, but he wasn't hands-on like Danielle. So then Chris came in and then they hired somebody to replace Danielle. So then she came in as well.
That's tough.
And then unfortunately, the replacement for Danielle no longer works for McKenna either. He works for the township now.
Sorry,
So-
McKenna. You guys are great.
Yeah, he's great, but we also stole him. So it's been that kind of a process where it's like, ugh,
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
we just can't get ahead and get through it as quick
Yeah.
as I think we had hoped we would.
Yeah. And I think to that too, I want to key into what you said. This is a culmination of not just, reshuffling things in our zoning ordinance. This was a process that was a 2-year process of creating a strategic plan that was adopted in 2022, where a lot of community engagement happened. And the board listened to the community and really came up with the plan and then started implementing that plan. The land use element of that was adopted in the master plan in 2024. And yeah, did I say that right? And then, I came in the beginning of 2024, we had turnover with McKenna, and here we are a year later, like putting together a whole master plan. This has been, a lot of work from the subcommittee, a lot of work from McKenna, a lot of work for the department. I think it's going to be something that's integrating in everything that the planning commission talked about with preservation, with controlled development, with preserving the character of Cascade. And this is the rules that actually give us the teeth to do it.
Yeah.
So it's been a lot of work, a lot of, growing pains, and we're really excited to present it to the
It's
planning commission and the community.
It's a lot, and it's super exciting. I mean, complaints that residents have, I feel like we've addressed. We're trying to revitalize a village area.
Yeah.
The best we can.
Yeah.
Preserve farmland character. It's an exciting thing to be a part of.
Great.
Okay.
Sounds good, you guys. Good work.
We'll
Anybody
see.
have Any
Haven't seen it
questions
yet.
for staff or questions or comments?
So. And I just want to say, honest, it has been a lot of work, but we are hoping to hear back from people,
Yeah.
including the planning commission,
Okay.
to know there's things that you're gonna be like, what? Like, why? And just to ask those questions and to go through it publicly, I think is gonna be a really important process
Yeah.
and super exciting for people to hear.
Explain the thought
And a
process.
lot of, I saw the work that they were
Yeah.
putting into.
Yeah.
And saw what was going on, so.
It's a lot.
It was a lot.
A lot of little stuff, yeah, too, yeah. Great.
Good.
All right, well then I'll make a motion for case number 253892 to set public hearing for the July 21st Planning Commission meeting. Support. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. All right, Article 9, acknowledge visitors and those wishing to speak. Anybody online? All right. Article 10, other business. Does anybody have any other business?
Wow.
All right, Article 11, adjourned meeting.
Excellent.
Right.